So, welcome, Sally with Gordon Food Service, Patrick with Gordon Food Service in the back, education manager. I know everybody here. So one thing I wanted to remind you all of before I forget, HPS is going to be here in about an hour. But your next incentive payout for your rebates, and Dale, we got your form filled out and sent in. So the next payout is in December. Just so you all know, that's when you'll see those credits. So make sure you go in my account. When you see those credits, that's what that is. So if you have any questions, just shoot me an email, call me, text me, and let me know. Okie doke. And you all know that Preston took a different position within the company. I think Lisa Stewart, who is in a different role at HPS, is covering for her in the interim until they get somebody new to fill that position. A couple other things. So did everybody get the email that Ryan is your new IST? Has everybody had a chance to work with Ryan?
He's filled in for Zeke a few times, I think.
Yeah.
I talked to him earlier this week and asked him, not just jump right in, but
no, you're fine. Live and you got to get up here on camera.
Just asking Ryan how he was doing as far as the new territory. And he said a lot of it was pretty familiar to him, but he needed to get to know everybody a little bit better and a few other things, but he was excited and looking forward to it. Ryan is now our only K-12 dedicated IST. So we're piloting that within the company just to see how that would work. He doesn't do anything but just come to K-12. So see how that goes. He's excited though.
And Ryan's been there a very long time. He's very familiar with the K-12 segment, so it was a really good fit. I think I was the only education person in Central States that wasn't moved to Ryan, so I was that last leg. But I think you'll find Ryan's really great. Zeke was great. He's still there. He's just covering more of the healthcare, non-commercial side. And then Ryan's going to be specific to K-12 because we all know K-12 is uniquely different, such as healthcare is too. So
I want to say too, Ryan's personality is, he's a great guy, but he is very short, sweet, to the point. So don't ever take offense if he's like, boom, 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 just getting it done and moving on. It's just the way he rolls, right?
Yeah. And my goal is I'd like to get him on the next meeting agenda, just videoing him in so that you can talk to him if he has anything specific he wants to address, where it's new. It's just where he just started in this role. I'm trying to give him time to kind of get used to that many more volume of customers that he's accompanying or supporting right now. So any questions on that? Does anybody not have his information and they need it? Everybody good? And you'll email, or Ryan will be your first point of contact, email, phone, text, that kind of stuff. So let's see, where's my mouse? Oh, I'm trying to use this mouse and I'm not using that mouse. Okay. So, since it's been a while since we've been together, since before summer, I've been kind of in and out over the summer with health issues. So I've got a lot of slides here, and I'm going to try not to be mundane, but I want a lot of things, I have a lot of updates to cover. One thing, housekeeping note before I forget, Deb was supposed to be here today with Key Impact, and she texted me this morning and had to cancel because she got called in for jury duty. So she's going to try to make the next meeting. So what you'll find at the next meeting is we'll have more vendors because Lori was on vacation. Let's see, Denise had to be in Western Kentucky. I think Amy had to be in Western Kentucky. So that date just didn't mesh very well. So it'll just be me, it'll be Preston and Patrick, of course. And then hopefully we'll get you out of here by 12 or 12:30 and go grab a bite to eat and that kind of stuff. So, sound good? Okay. So what I'm going to start off with is I know that every meeting or every other meeting we've talked about Gordon Now. Some of you may have used it. Has anybody in here tried it yet? You'll notice like when you go online there's like a chat box down there, and that's part of that Gordon Now. But Gordon Now, you have that Google the Google device where you can actually speak into it and you can actually add to your order. It'll put it in your cart, those kind of things. So what we did is we do have a customer that's currently using that, and so we put together a little video just to show you how he's using it, because maybe you'll find that useful in your avenue, your business, or it may be even more helpful for the managers as well. I don't know why I want to keep using that mouse. So it's a short video, I promise. You all hear that?
Well, I'm the food service director at the Lexington School. I've been here for, this is the end of my 6th year. The school has been here for more than 50 years. So we feed almost exactly 600 students every day. We have about 125 faculty and staff, and then I usually plan for about 50 parent visitors every day. I discovered Gordon Now and the Gordon Now app at the Gordon Food Service Food Show in Louisville. You guys had a booth set up, and I was interested in what it could do. And as I watched the demonstrations and everything that the app was going to be able to do, it just seemed like a game changer to my kitchen and my food service. It makes my ordering time way more efficient by streamlining the process to eliminating all the lists that I had my crew create for me. Now it's just a matter of seeing that we're in need of something, thinking of something that I need for an event. No matter where I am, no matter what time of day it is, I can always use our minis, or I can use my phone to order whatever I need. And I can just talk to Gordon Now, and it does the work for me. I'm always looking to grow with technology. I'm doing that in my kitchen, and I want to do that in all aspects of our food service, including ordering through Gordon Now. So really the biggest thing is that you guys have a great tech team that is constantly growing this program, and I'm looking forward to growing right along with it. I would definitely recommend Gordon Food Service. I've been in the industry for a while, and I've worked with a lot of different food services, and I'd say the most impressive feature that I've had working with Gordon Food Service has just been that you guys have really let me be me. So our food service is very unique. We're not like a typical school food service. We're definitely not like a restaurant. We're somewhere in between all of those things, and GFS has never really tried to bottle me into one type of program or to suggest things that really don't fit my program. Just finding solutions for my individual food service, and that's huge to me. I would definitely recommend Gordon Food Service just for the independent guy.
Let me go out of that. So has anybody started using the Gordon Now app? I know we've talked about it a lot. I didn't know if there were any managers that were using it. You can actually check it out, and remember it is unit specific, so it'll be by school. So you can download the app, and you can log in using your Experience login. That's kind of what that goes through. Once you log in, and I'll show you what information it shows, but you'll have access to your driver info, who's going to be your driver that day. There's this picture, there's an ETA on there that you can see as well. And I feel like it'd be a really good tool, more specifically to managers, but I think as a director as well, especially with security being what it is today. So here it'll like show you a picture of your driver, here's the delivery time window, and then you're going to have alerts. So you'll notice like on your invoices, when you pull them up, I know you all are paperless right now, but when you look at it, it'll say tell you temp out, but what it won't tell you is what short shipped, like a produce item that was short shipped, maybe the truck didn't make it in time into our warehouse. So that's when it also show you what items were short shipped, so you can prepare for that ahead of time, and you know that you're not expecting that when the driver comes in that day. And then that, of course, that current delivery is going to tell you everything that's coming. It's going to tell you, like for instance, it'll tell you this is short shipped. There'll be something else that'll say it's temp out, very much like your invoice. And all this is you'll just kind of scroll up and down to see all of the items and what's out and that kind of stuff. Right on your phone too. It's a nice part about it.
Do you all let your managers use their phones within the schools?
I use them, but we don't do this.
I was going to say, there was a time when we said, well, we don't really want managers having their phones with them or utilizing. Now it's almost like I heard one director saying, we kind of require them to have their phones with them. So
Well,
we've all shifted, right?
Well, a lot of times, like if I need to get up with them, or
Yeah.
they need to get up with me or something, because if you try to do the school file, it's back in her
Right.
office, and if she's out in the kitchen working, she can't
Quicker,
hear it.
easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've had a couple districts as of late, not in Sally's area, asked for us to come in and do training with their managers on the Gordon Now app. She's for Where's My Truck. Short shifts is a big thing. They love me. They'll see short shifts faster than Ryan will see them, so they can see what's already out. So Megan, I think Megan did one a week or so ago with one of her counties.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd be happy to do that with managers as well. We can definitely do that and walk them through that. One thing that's new with the Gordon Now app since we've been together is that used to you couldn't order through the app, and now you can. So now that's an option, and you'll see like when you pull up the menu part, it'll say online ordering, and so you'll select that. And then this is kind of just the deck that tells you how to. Now, what I have done is I have shared this presentation. Whatever I'm sharing today with you, I've also shared with Adrian and Ashley for y'all to have access to that too, because I think they said they're going to post it, plus the video that they're posting. Yeah. So this kind of just walks you through that, how you would go through an order. And you'll see right here, it looks very much like when you're on your computer or your laptop, and you just click online ordering there. One thing that is unique is you're not going to have to log in every time you get an app. So it'll say logged in for up to 6 months without having to log in again, which will be really handy because if you're getting on your phone and you want to add to your order, maybe they're in the stock room, maybe they're doing inventory and they want to go ahead and order something, they can do it you or your manager can do it through the phone, and they just got to open that app up, put it in there, and it's in the cart. So it'll be really easy. So even if they're not using it to place their whole order, it could be a good option to add to their order. Another thing is, and you saw the little, like a Google device, there's a Gordon Now device now that we do have an item number that's set up. It is a dropship. I don't know what your price is, but if you want to shoot me an email or write an email, we can figure out what the HPS price is and let you all know that. But there is an item number here that if you wanted to use that device or to order that device, you do have the option to do that now. So. Now, I know this says the next release is mid-August, but we haven't been together since back in the spring. So I wanted to go ahead and put any of the updates that are in there since we've been together. One thing that you'll notice that's different is like on your item description, if it's an item that you've ordered in the past, it's going to tell you, you last ordered that on July the 2nd, 2019. You've probably already seen that, but I wanted to make sure that I call that out. Another option is on the order guide, you can do a quick print, or you can actually do a custom import where you do it into Excel as well. And also you'll get a notification if you're out there keying an order and you're 10 keying it and maybe you leave and you come back, you'll have this notification that says, hey, you've still got stuff out there that's 10 keyed, you need to add to your cart and submit. So
I like that last order date on that.
yeah. Yeah, I do too. And it's also should be like, you know how you see your schools? There should be, I heard, and I don't think it's on one of these slides, that now it'll say confirmed out beside it. So, you know, like when you're logged in and you're looking at all of your schools, it should be saying confirmed out beside of it if you submitted an order. So you should see that now as well, because that was one of the things that we really voted on to get as an enhancement. Now, one thing that was released on October the 3rd, and I really, honestly, I've not had a chance to go out there and look at it, but there is an updated nutrition label. Now, keep in mind, you've got items that you have nutrition labels for, and there's some that aren't out there because the vendor didn't provide it. But there are going to be nutrition labels to comply with the USDA requirements ahead of the 1/1/20 deadline. So we changed the format, changed some labels, added some nutrients, removed a couple of nutrients. So you'll see that, what that looks like. So if you go out there now, you should see that now. Another thing is the Dropship Program, what we call EPO, is your expanded product offering. So that means like when you're out there ordering, you'll see something that says Dropship, and it'll be in blue. Those items are not in stock at our warehouse. However, we have worked it out with those vendors to where we can allow the customers to order. So essentially what you're doing is you're ordering direct from that manufacturer, from that vendor, and they're going to drop ship that product to you. So that's going to come to you via UPS. And you'll notice that when you, well, it's not on here, but like when there's an item, it'll say drop ship. That is specifically a special order item. You're ordering it direct from the manufacturer. So these are some of the ones that, so we've added some vendors. So like there's some shoes that you can order from Wolverine now, a little coffee maker, there's iron, there's some other things that you can order directly online versus having to get Ryan or myself to try to find that for you. You should be able to see the price out there online, and then you'll know what it's going to cost you, and you won't have, that's going to save you some time waiting on one of us to get back to you on what that price is going to be and to order it for you. So here are some of the vendors that we've added, and these were added in September. So 88 Acres. So that might be one that you might want to go out there and do a search under 88 Acres, because those are education focused snacks. So you've got your bars, your nut butters, that kind of stuff. So I would encourage you, that one's probably one that you might want to look at. Maybe for some ideas for your snack program, or maybe you want to add it to your lunch program, to your trays. And then you'll get this list in that presentation as well. If I'll ask Adrian if they're going to send it directly to you all. If not, I'll send it to you. And then here's some more vendors. You've got Simply Gum, which is bubble gum. You don't need that. But this kind of this is just some of the pictures. Like here's a Coconella, which is granola oats. Some cups. There's equipment. Aprons, shoes, that kind of stuff is out there. So one of the things that if you've not seen it yet, you're going to see it pop up when you log in. So when it comes to your AR, how many in here is paying online?
Oh, yeah. I was just going to ask who's having an AR.
Oh, are you having one this
The
year?
end of March.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, because we sent you a report and that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Okay. So what's going to happen as of November the 3rd, you will no longer have AR history. So now you'll have it from November the 3rd on, but you're not going to have it previous. So if there's invoices or information that you need that was prior to November 3rd, then let myself or Ryan know. Now you will get notification pop up on your online ordering, or online when you log into online experience. You will get the notification that that's changing, but just wanted to make you aware of it while I'm here, that is changing.
So it's basically going to a new payment system, is that what it's?
Yeah, it is. It is. The way I understand it is it's going to be a little bit different. I think it's just going to be a whole different icon when you log in, but the notification will be more clear on that. But just keep in mind, anything previous to November 3rd, you'll have to ask us to pull that information for you, because it's almost like a reset, because it's a whole new system that it's moving to. So
If you got a review of procurement next year,
Mhm.
you have to make sure you got all that if that's going away.
yeah,
I have automated emails that come to me with the invoices on the paper invoice. Will that still continue?
yes,
Yeah. Because my accounting, they have to have a paper invoice. Even though we quit pay,
yeah.
they still make me print that out and do
Right.
it and turn it in.
Yeah. So if you need copies of it and you don't have it in the email, or you deleted the email, we can definitely get that information for you.
But the emails will continue.
Yeah, the emails will continue. So you'll continue to get copies of the invoice. It's just when you're in online payment and you can see the payment history or the invoice history, you just won't be able to see it. Now from November 3rd on, you can go back to November 3rd. So, because it's all going to roll over to the new system, and it won't be able to pull from the old one. Any questions? Any other questions on that? Does that make sense? And like I said, if you haven't seen the pop-up yet, it will start to pop up when you log in. you'll get that notification, like all the other notifications. It says remind me later, or you can read it and it'll tell you that's
I used to
changing.
just go ahead and hit remind me later. And let him read it. I'm sorry.
I know, that's
Yeah,
why,
just-
that's why I at least wanted to tell you all, so that way you know, because I do the same thing. If I log in there under somebody else and it says something, I always say remind me later and I don't read it.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm the same way. But if you have any questions, please call us, let me know. I want to move on if that's okay. Everybody's good? Okay. So one of the things that we talked about, did anybody go to the food show in October or in September? Nobody in this room got to go. Okay, so I didn't get to go to the food show this year. It's the first food show I've ever missed. But what we did different this year at the food show is we did the education showcase. You all should have seen the invite for that. The education showcase was where the vendors were in a separate room and they showed specific education items. I wasn't there. Patrick, would you have any thoughts or anything you want to add to that?
Yeah. So,
About the education showcase and what that was and how it looked at the food show and what came out of that kind of thing?
Yeah, a few things. So we used to do that separately. We had the education showcase at different venues. I think Kentucky Derby Museum was the last one we did it at. And we felt like the food show was a natural place to look at items because our customers, a lot of our education customers, want to come to the food show for catering or look at disposable items or whatever. So we felt like we could capture both the audience for two reasons. One, for the showcase, to look at specific education items, new items, or maybe items that we've had in stock that people just didn't really know about. And we wanted to highlight vendors that really supported the education segment and Gordon Food Service. So it wasn't all vendors and it wasn't all items. So we had the separate breakout room, which we kind of debated on that too. Should we just have items at the regular vendor booths and somehow delineate that it's an education item? We felt like it'd be too much acreage to cover the food show to see everything. So we put it in a separate room. We felt like that was a really good format to have. The folks that did come, we had a lot of directors, we had a lot of managers come. They enjoyed seeing the products. One thing that was called out was we wanted to move it up in the day. We had it starting like at noon, which is a little late for directors to come in. So next year we're talking about moving it up like from 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock. Then if you want to leave and go back home, if you're out of ways, you can. Or if you want to go and enjoy the show, you can do that in the afternoon once you do the education showcase. I'm trying to think what else that came out of that too. The vendors loved it. They felt like it was a better use of their time because most of the broker vendors had dedicated K-12 specialists. So if they weren't in there talking to our education customers, they were just out working the show floor, probably not anything specific to education. The biggest thing that we wanted to accomplish by doing it at the food show is we felt like timing-wise, it was better to have it in early fall. So you guys could be seeing the products and making your decisions for your menus. Theoretically, we're hoping to have all those decisions kind of made by the time you break for Christmas. That way you will know where you can put your commodity diversions, you can know what new items you're looking for the next school year, and kind of have all that mostly buttoned up by then. If you remember, the showcase historically it was in the spring, right? What is Sally, late
January,
winter?
February.
Yeah, and everybody's like, well, this is way too late. We need to be seeing products sooner for our menus.
Yeah.
So yeah, we felt like it was a resounding success. One other thing I would just call out is a lot of people get confused thinking that the showcase are the only items, or the only way to look at new items for education. It's not, it's just one way. So it's just one subset of vendors. The other way is what Sally's been talking about and what working with HPS to make sure you're funneling new item requests to them. That's probably the other way to do it, right, Sally?
Yeah.
And the third way is just individual interest. If KVEC as a group has an interest in an item, there's enough volume, we can look to bring it in that way too.
Right.
Is there anything else that I zipped over?
No, I mean, I wanted you all just to get a high level view of what was different at the food show since you all didn't get to make it. We did do the education showcase. We don't know yet if that's going to be the case every year for the food show, if that'll be the venue where we continue to do that. But it's a really good opportunity. You also get the iPads. You can vote yes or no, I like it. And then that kind of gives us a bones list to start with for the next school year already. So we're doing that in the fall for the next school year. And I do have a slot. I will talk about what our goal is for the new item process for the next school year as well. We kind of changed a little bit this past school year. There were some things we learned, mistakes were made, so we've kind of brushed up on that and streamlined that to be a lot better process. But the goal is you'll know what new items that you want to come in when you're diverting commodities. That's the goal.
Mhm.
So you're always going to be a year ahead of time. And that's kind of what we feel like has happened in the past, is we're always behind the curve. So I do have like the little timeline that'll show you what that looks like. So one of the things that I did want to talk about, ask you all, and I'm switching gears and we'll get back to the new item process in a minute, is you all have requests for like cleaner labels. Do you have parents that are saying, I want to know what's in my child's food? I want to know what you all are doing to be more green, sustainable, none of that stuff. And it could be more metro. So, but I did at least want to put that in there because that seems to be a really big trend right now in school food service. Probably more specifically in the metro areas, but we all know eventually it's going to make its way over this way. So what is clean label? There is no industry definition, so everybody's definition of a clean label is different. And I did, we've already been through that. So what I wanted to show you is that we do at Gordon Food Service have what's called a clear choice program, which allows you the ability to, if you have those questions, or if you are a district or a school that wants to look for those options, those cleaner options, then this clear choice program is going to allow you to be able to find those things a lot easier. So I'll show you this really quick video. There's not even talking. So, like I said, it is probably going to be something that's going to make its way over this way. You may see more and more of it, especially when you have, you know, people moving, or kids moving into the district. It just seems to be a really hot topic. So I didn't want to brush over that, and Gordon Food Service wanted to take the initiative to say, how can we make it easier for our customers to access cleaner label products? Everybody's definition is different. So what we did is we took 6 categories and we put those as filters on online ordering. So it's cleaner ingredients, specialty agriculture, animal care, environmental friendly, ethically sourced, and sustainable seafood. So those are the 6 categories that you're going to see when you go to filter and you're looking for cleaner label products. We put it under those 6 buckets so that, I mean, what you all define as cleaner label might not be exactly the same. So we kind of made it more of a general bucket, more general buckets. So, and you'll see in online ordering, you'll say, it says cleaner ingredients, and it'll say no artificial sweeteners, no MSG, and then there's 38 items, and then it's going to pull up all of those items. And then in the more information, it's going to give you what those ingredients are. It'll say no thickeners, no sugar, no MSG, that kind of stuff. So that way, if that is something that you're looking for, or your district or principal or teacher or somebody's wanting that information, then you'll have access to it right online. And then, and you can filter it. There is a filter option. If you'll notice right here, it says filter. You can filter by gluten-free, product of USA, kosher, cleaner ingredients, all the different options. Let me click the screen. Another thing that we have, and when you get this, these links will be on here as well. So, you know, are you all getting requests like, let's go to trays, let's not do paper trays anymore? Are you? Okay. So what I have here is there are some links to articles. Disposing the confusion on disposable. Disposables get a green light. Compostable disposable is the after story. There's also products with the conscious. So if you're on online ordering, when you log into gfs.com, if you look under resources, don't go to online ordering, go to resources, you're going to see a lot of those there. But there's also like a disposable catalog that you can actually click on. You can print it, you can download it to where you can go find that information as well. But you will have access to all of those links to where you can go out there and kind of brush up on it, or if you want it, you know, you have a teacher or principal or a parent or somebody that's asking for that information. And of course, call me and I'll help you figure out, say you want to go from a straw, or say you want to go from paper trays and you want to go to a regular tray. Just call me and I can help you find that. If you want to go to a certain kind of tray, I can help you do that as well.
Really appreciate Sally talking about this. One thing as a team we've talked about is the national trend towards eliminating single-use plastics. So we've talked internally about stocking a paper milk straw, a regular paper drinking straw. They've come a long way with the quality of those. Before they was just disintegrate, but they've gotten much, much better.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about helping districts eliminate the use of bottled water. We've even looked into water in a box, which is kind of trendy. We talked about, we almost brought in, what was the aluminum can company, refillable water bottle?
Yeah,
Pathway.
Yeah, I think it was Pathway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we thought that was gonna make it in, but there just wasn't enough interest within the schools, and we asked why. There was a couple things. One was, you know, they weren't sure that what the kids were putting in the bottles and bringing into the schools. Secondly, you almost have to invest in those more expensive water fountains that have the refillable spout on them. So there were a few reasons why we realized that wasn't of interest, but we're all ears. If there's anything you're hearing out there, like, yeah, we want to get away from single-use plastic, we would be interested in water in a box, little individual boxes, or we would like paper straws. Just give us the word, because
Yeah.
we would love to do that. We just want to make sure that we're on track with what you guys want.
Yeah. And then we've also heard that some schools don't even have dish machines in their schools anymore. So that was another thing. But there was an article in SNA, and I'll find it and send it to you, to where there was a district, what state was it in? Actually, it was in Alaska. And what they were doing is I think it was Anchorage, Alaska, and they were actually piloting it first. So what they did is they moved away from those foam trays, and they didn't have dish machines, so invested in a dish machine, the chemicals and all of that stuff. And they said it was a lot of cost up front, but in the end, over a 3-year period, it was going to save them a lot of money, plus it was going to make them more green, more environmentally friendly. So I'll find that article. I know it's out there. I think I saved it. So I'll send it over to you too. It may give you some ideas of how to start if that's something that you're looking to do, or, you know. So, any questions or thoughts on that? No. What time did you say?
She
Lisa's
said
gonna
probably
be here?
between 11 and 11:30.
Okay, I'm good. All right, so now I'm going to go back to what we were talking about a few minutes ago, the new item process. So what we did is we kind of put together this little timeline. And so I kind of wanted to walk through that, see if kind of feel we'll have discussion about it as well. So what we're thinking, or what we have decided upon, is that the new item process for next school year actually would start at ANC, even at KSNA.
So this past one, in other words,
Yes.
yeah, this past summer, ENC.
Yeah. So what you're doing is you're seeing these items at KSNA and you're seeing them at ANC that are brand new. You know, sometimes they'll have them in the bags. They don't even have a bag for them made yet. They don't have that figured out. So that starts here, and you're also developing your menus. What time are you all? I mean, everybody's different. What time do you all typically start developing your menus for the next school year? I mean, you're already thinking that once school startup is done, you're already thinking about next year, right? I mean, is that fair to say?
So the best way to put this, and I don't mean to jump in.
No, you're fine. You go ahead, Patrick. You're eloquent.
I really struggled with this too, and what we all did, the broker vendor community struggled. We struggled to understand the timeline, and it really wasn't until a person from Gordon Food Service was at the A&C show last year. And one of the vendors said, we were talking about, they were showing this new item at A&C, and they were like, it may be hard for us to get that in time for back to school, which would be a month later, right? And they're like, no, wait a minute, well, what do you mean? We're developing this product here at A&C for the next school year. And we're like, really? Wow, we didn't realize that, because we were always scrambling to get those new items in. After KSNA and A&C, we were just jumping through hoops trying to get those products in stock for you guys to have ready for that literally a month or two later to start back to school, which was a disaster. We never could get the products in time. So we completely shifted our focus to think, okay, so we had more districts telling us also, hey, we start menu planning. We start looking at new items as soon as back to school starts and we get through back to school season, which is kind of typically around after Labor Day, things kind of settle down. We're really doing a lot of product evaluation up to about December, and quantity diversions, all that, for getting ready for menu planning in March and April. And then we're ready to get our menus done for the next school year. We're like, yeah, we totally got this messed up. So what we've done now is we're saying, by the time we get to KSNA and A&C, we are then looking at those items for the next school year, emphasizing the next school year. And then what we do from there on, and what Sally's going to allude to, is from the start of back to school through December, when we get to Christmas break, we're going to have brokers and vendors just beating a path to your door, showing you items. And by the time we get to December, like Sally alluded to earlier, we should have a pretty good list of items for you guys to know there's a high level of confidence Gordon's will be bringing these in, so I can feel comfortable putting them on my menu for the next school year when I start my planning in the spring. It just speeds everything up. A lot of folks would say, well, wait a minute, we need to see new school items as soon as they're ready because we want new stuff for our kids. What we would say is that's probably important for the local chef at the restaurant that needs to compete with his competitor down the road. But in the school arena, items are really kind of new to the students when you present them to the students, right? So it's new for the kids the next school year when you guys put them on the menu. Does that make any sense at all, what I'm saying? We kind of just speeded, we kind of turned everything up a whole year to try to get things ready in advance.
Yeah. And I couldn't have explained it better, because that's pretty much what he alluded or what Patrick discussed. So that's the plan, and I'm not sure what Lisa's planning on showing you all, but much like last year, you all were asked to share new items with HPS. Well, now they have it on, is it HPS Cats that they have it on now?
Yeah,
where you can actually submit what new items that you're wanting for the next school year. And then HPS will compile that list, and then they'll send that entire list to Gordon Food Service and say, these are the items that our districts say they want. And I'm pretty sure Lisa will be showing you that. I haven't seen it yet. Have you seen it yet, Patrick?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen it yet, so it'll be interesting to see what that looks like. But I think it'll be a really easy process. The goal is, we really want the vendors, and we have been communicating that to the vendors. We want you all at these meetings. We want you all showing product. If you want your new product, you need to do it now before commodity diversions start to happen. Because then at that point, you may not divert because you didn't know that product existed for the next school year. So next month, there will be way more vendors lined up for November. And we may need to talk about that at the end. Do we want to have it here? Do we want to have it somewhere else? So we'll talk about that.
I just thought of something, Sally, too, like,
Yes.
I mean, you guys, vendors try to get around to all the school groups. At last count in this division, the Shepherdsville services, the schools that Shepherdsville services, there's about 11 customer groups, Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana. So the vendors are trying to get around to all of you guys, show you all the new items. But if for some reason there's a new item that makes the list that you guys didn't get a chance to see, but it looks like we're going to be bringing it in, you still have time in the spring we can get in touch with that vendor to say, hey, your item made the list, but KVEC hasn't seen that yet. So could you get down there and show them the latest, greatest chocolate covered, whatever, and they can get down here and show it to you. That way you can at least kick the tires and decide, well, it's good, hey, we know it's gonna be coming in, now we can make the decision if we wanna use it or not. Then when Sally comes around asking for forecasts, we'll know what you need to do, or what you would like to do.
Oh. Any questions or any thoughts on that, about that new item process? No? So one thing I'll jump straight into, and I'll go over this briefly as well. I want to talk about like the supply chain, what that means. And the reason why I'm talking about it is because of the importance of forecasting. When I'm asking for forecasting, or when you're switching to a new item, you've changed your menu, why that's important. So supply chain, of course, is the vendor comes to our DC, and then our drivers go out to the customer. That's just kind of a visual of that. Forecast, I might have got my slides mixed up on that one. Forecast customer demand, replenish cycle stock, strategic planning. This is all, I will loop this all in together once I get to the next couple of slides. So what Patrick talks about forecasting. So for instance, let's say you've submitted a new list to HPS, right? Well, at that point, we're going to need to know what your forecasting is, because those are brand new items. We have no history on them, so we need to understand, our logistics teams need to understand what the usage is going to be, or else it's going to be a brand new item and somebody didn't submit forecasting for it, and then everybody else is marked out of stock because they ordered a bunch, especially if it's a larger district. So the purpose of this is for you to understand why we ask for forecasting, because I understand it seems like it's a lot of work, and maybe we ask you to do a lot, but at the same time, it benefits both of us. We can have the product in, you all will get the product whenever you ask for it. So, especially because it's school districts have that, you've got your lulls, you've got your Christmas break, you've got your fall breaks, you've got your summertime, that kind of stuff. So what we do with the forecasting is we do sales data. So we pull our usage, you pull your usage report for the top 200, top 300, top 400 items, and this happens in the spring. And I don't group that into weekly buckets. So then I ask you, okay, here's your top 200. What items are changing? Is the forecast going to stay the same? That kind of stuff. And then we send that information through our CDP to logistics. And logistics has that information to say, hey, we know we've got to have X amount of cases because all these districts submitted that forecasting. That's going to be pretty much be the same for this spring. And then replenishment, published forecast, plan, load build, suggested order, PO creation. So this is from a logistics standpoint. They're taking that information that you submitted to me, that I submitted to them, that says this is a published forecast. So we're going to plan and say, okay, well, all of these school districts combined are going to order 1,000 cases a week. So they go in there and they load it in the system. They said, okay, we're guessing about 1,000. They're going to pretty much guess it almost to the case of what you all have forecasted for. Then they create a PO. Well, here's where the forecasting is so important, and why it's what's the word I'm looking for? It's very important as far as the timing, because depending on what vendor it is, we could create a PO and say, hey vendor, we want this amount of cases of these products, but that vendor may be a 3-week lead vendor. So let's say you tell me 3 weeks later that you want 50 cases of that, then you won't be able to get it for another 3 weeks, kind of thing. So like if you're switching items on your menu, does that make sense? Or am I confusing you? I'm not as eloquent as Patrick is about explaining stuff. I'm more eloquent on paper, less eloquent.
I just talk a lot. Sometimes I think back if that makes sense or not. Just got to give the gap.
Yeah.
But no, what Sally's alluding to is exactly right. One thing that we're dealing with is we're dealing with a distribution center in Shepherdville that is beyond capacity. So when we're trying to get a vendor, so we're trying to get a tractor trailer in, we may need just 1 or 2 items off of that tractor trailer from Schwann's, but we have to order a whole truckload to make it make sense financially. Now we got that trailer stuck at that receiving door for 4 to 5 hours because we just need one little item. That's why forecasting is so absolutely critical for us, because we're just slammed. And are you going to talk about the new distribution center that we're building up in Indianapolis?
You know what? I did not.
So we got an announcement end of last week that we're finally got an announcement of a brand new distribution center just north of Indianapolis to ultimately give us some relief in Shepherdsville, because so they stick those golden shovels in the ground and take all the photos with the hard hats. It's still going to be another 18 months to 2 years before that distribution center ships a single case. So Sally and I are automatically thinking, well, how many back to school seasons more do we have to try to squeeze out of Shepherdsville? So this year was really telling for us because we were beyond capacity and we brought on even more new school business this year. Well, we had Western came on for the second year.
Yeah. I think-
Indianapolis Public came on, and we had some increased business in St. Louis. So we were really kind of stressing. But this probably was one of our best executed back to school seasons that we've ever had.
Yeah.
Now, we had some of the lowest fill rates we've ever seen, but that was because we had a couple really problem vendors. Advanced Pierre was struggling, Tyson was struggling on some things. Nothing to do with us, it was just, we had a couple of vendors that were struggling. But ultimately,
Yeah.
I don't know what your all's experience was. I've been to several groups like this, and everybody's like, yeah, it felt like it's been one of the better ones. There wasn't all these willy-nilly, you're out of this, you're out of that, you're out of this, you're out of that. We kind of knew what you were dealing with. We felt like everything else, as far as new items and the stuff we use normally, was pretty good, right, Sally?
Yeah.
Was that your all's experience for the most part?
Most part, yeah. Mine was.
Just those General Mills cups. Really.
General
Yeah,
Mills.
and that was new,
Yeah,
that was the
that's
new
another one.
item.
They got
Good.
blocked
That was all.
Yeah.
on those cups.
Yeah.
I think everybody started using them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The
And
kids
it
like
was-
them. I
And
mean,
it was a
it's
new
different.
product and
Yeah.
everybody was ordering.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a lesson learned for us too. Like we were talking about launching items at ANC and trying to get them in for the school year that you're in. A lot of times, the broker vendor community, and even sometimes the direct manufacturer reps, so like Barb, what's her name, Barbara
Barbara Rudd.
They do a phenomenal job at General
Yeah.
Mills, but I think sometimes they oversell the product. And then when it comes to can they actually produce the product, the manufacturing side, just can't get up to speed fast enough.
Yeah.
So we want to do a better job with this forecasting of telling General Mills, you better get rocking and rolling on those cereal cups because this is how much we're going to be requesting from you.
Yeah. Sorry. I've got drops are in the car.
Contacts,
I'm sorry.
contact lens.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's getting dried out. So one of the things that I put in here is I kind of wanted to see you, kind of show you what logistics kind of looks at. One thing you'll notice, what's really interesting, so this is like a sheeted pizza dough, and you'll see this bottoms out right here. That's the end of May, the middle of July, and then you see it start to pick up. And then you'll see it spike down during Christmas break. You have a little bit of a spike during fall. And then again, here in the summertime, you see it drop dramatically and then it goes back up. So I just kind of wanted to give you a visual of when it's seasonal, what that looks like and what logistics sees. Excuse me. And then of course this is another item. It just is a more popular school item, which is a pancake wrap. That's a sausage or whole grain pancake wrap. So you'll see it drop during Christmas break, then you've got these high spikes. And a lot of that may have to do with cycle menus as well. Like it's not a biscuit that they're using every week. Maybe they're just serving that once every 2 weeks or once every month. And then of course the fruit punch boxes. So I just kind of wanted to show you what that looked like. And then this is the juice boxes, and this shows you like the dates. It'll show you what the demand is, and this will show you like what's available and what the forecast is. And I know that's small numbers, but I won't go into that. I just kind of wanted to give you a visual of what that looks like from their perspective. So, and I will say this, that's one of the things that we've worked closely with logistics the last couple of years, and we plan to work even more closely this upcoming, or during this school year, is helping them to get as much information as they can. So, and of course that's where I'm going to come to you and say, okay, or like say you say there's an item that's controlled usage, open it up, and we're always going to come back and say, well, what's your usage going to be? We have to have that information in order just to submit the request for you all to get that attached to that item. So what happens for logistics, they call it supply chain, I still call it logistics. What happens for them, they said some of their key issues is communicated changes in demand, vendor supply issues that Patrick talked about, transportation, and weather. And what happens with that is we might have spoilage and liquidation. More specifically, if somebody over forecast or somebody quit using an item and didn't tell us and they bought a substantial amount, for instance, like a Pike County or Floyd County was buying 100 cases a week of an item, and all of a sudden they quit and they don't tell us, then we end up with excess inventory and we have to toss it out.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
So on that note, we're always looking for districts that are willing to take product that's short on date or maybe over on inventory. Typically, we discount it, we aggressively discount it, but we kind of like them to take all of it. And if you got room for it, anybody in the room that would be interested in knowing about some of those items, I mean, don't feel like you have to. I know Scott County or Madison County Schools, Scott over there, he takes just tons of that kind of stuff. For example, I'm trying to think what the latest one was. He took tons of it.
Wasn't it some kind of breadstick or something? I
Yeah.
can't remember.
What we do is we get a item at risk list every day, and we go through there and look for any education items that may have hit the need to sell list. And we typically discount those anywhere from 50 to 60, sometimes 75%.
Yeah.
So we're selling it just pennies on the dollar. And if you're interested in ever knowing about something like Sally and I know, we'll
Right.
get the information over to you.
Right. And of course, it'd be like, we have 45 cases. We'll discount it for this if you want to take 45 cases.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, well, can I get a sample? No.
No.
You gotta take it.
Yeah. So,
I haven't used that in 2 years.
which I know Pike County's not here, but Pike County.
Pike might be one.
Pike
to do
County
something like
does,
that.
has taken some stuff on occasion because they have the warehouse.
Well, if you're flexible in your menu, you can drive down your menu costs significantly if you could, and if you got the room to put it. And we're completely open to, like we say, we'll send 10 to the elementary, 20 to the high school. You can break it up. We'll drop it wherever you want it.
Right. So.
Thank you. So just let us know, yeah.
Yeah, and if you want to know what those items are on a weekly basis, or if I see something, if you want me to shoot an email out to the group and say, hey, we have this many cases, is anybody interested?
We got something right now. What was that thing we were trying to move the other day?
I don't remember. I remember the email, but I can't remember.
It was a good one, though.
Because we
I'll think of it,
sold.
I'll look.
Yeah, send it to me. I know I have it. So this is going to talk about replenishment responsibilities. The performance is based, like again, it's based on 3 weeks out, so they're trying to forecast 3 weeks out for those 3 week lead vendors. I won't go through every bullet point on that for the sake of time. But one thing that is here's a really good visual. So let's say, I'll use Pike County because they're not here. So Pike County sends me an email and says, hey Sally, I want to start using such and such pizza. I'm moving from the Conagra to the Schwann's pizza. And I'm going to buy 50 cases a week. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to submit it. So logistics gets it the very next day. They get those updates. So they're going to go in there and say, okay, I need to add 50 cases to the next PO. Okay, so here they've created the PO, because usually they'll do it the day of. So let's say I submitted it here, but they're allowing like a couple of days for them to get it. So they'll go ahead and submit the PO. We're going to allow them 48 to 36 hours to get that information and create a PO for that. So you could be up to 2 to 3 weeks out before that product ever makes it in the warehouse before you, the beef. That's a good one for the blooper reel. But it is like a 3 week lead. So the calendar I wanted to throw in there so that you see how big of a process it is. Now, if it's a brand spanking new item that we're setting up, you're probably looking at a 6 week lead time. That's setting up the item code, that's adding forecasting in there, that's adding the PO, you've got to generate an item code, you've got to get nutrition information. So those new items take 6 to 8 weeks to even, from the time that it's submitted to the time that it, sometimes longer, before it makes it into our door. So that's another reason why we wanted to, and I won't go through these scenarios because I've already taken it's 10 after. and I want you all to get a break and to ask questions. So I know I kind of skimmed through that as far as the forecasting piece of it and what it looks like for the logistics. But at the end of the day, I know we ask you all a lot, and it feels like we ask you. If that thing stings me,
It's stink bugs.
they'll kill
It's
it.
just a stink bug,
It's
I
stink
think.
bugs. There's like 4 of them
Oh, it sounds like a wasp. It's so
There
loud.
wasn't one.
There's 2 of them right here. Look at it. No, there's 3 right there. Interesting. So then, I know I skimmed through the forecasting piece of it. I skimmed through it from a logistics perspective because you all have a lot on your plate. But I kind of wanted to get a little bit of an idea as to why we ask for the forecasting, why we need usage. We do that so that it'll benefit you and it allows you all, we can get the product in for you in a reasonable amount of time. So I'm going to wrap up. I don't know if Teresa's here, but I'll wrap up a few things and let you all ask your questions or address anything. So any large menu changes, let me know. Changing pizza items, you're moving from one item to another. All you have to do is shoot me an email and say, hey Sally, I'm going to quit using this and I'm going to start using that. I'm going to use 25 cases a month, 25 cases a week, whatever it may be. All you got to do is send me a quick email and we'll get it updated on our end for logistics to be able to adjust the POs that are coming in for the next delivery. I didn't know those things were that loud. Another thing I wanted to ask you is I think I may have pretty much everybody's cell phone, but if y'all could drop me an email and just say, in case of an emergency, here's my cell, or call this person or call that person. Let's say, for instance, the driver is stuck somewhere and we need to call somebody to say, hey, you know what, I'm going to be late because I can't get to your, dock because I have a flat tire, or, whatever it may be, just one of those. Just give me a phone number of who to call, cell phone, whatever it may be. And another thing, talking about wintertime, lock boxes, does anybody have them? Melissa, you don't have them, do you?
I do.
Rachel, you have them. So the lock boxes, again, with winter coming up, what the lock boxes will allow you to do is, 1, we provide the lock boxes. 2, if it's snowing, you don't have to call somebody to come in. Our driver will pull up, he puts his code in that lock box, takes out the key, he wheels it into your temperature zone, dry, freezer, cooler. Now it's going to be stacked there, and that way whenever that school is back in session and the managers and your staff come in, they can put those groceries away. Now keep in mind, he has the handheld, so he can't leave there until the delivery is reconciled. So if he's short something, he's going to go ahead and have to process the credit right then and there. But if there's anything, say it's a produce item and it doesn't, it's molded strawberries or something, you can always reach out to Ryan and he can take care of that credit after the fact. So if that's something that you're interested in, please let me know. Our driver or our transportation manager will come out and set those boxes up himself. We pay for the boxes. The only thing you have to pay for is the spare key, because once we put the key in that box, nobody else has access to that box except for our driver. He's the only one that has the code to it, and we have had managers to call and say, hey, I've locked myself out, I don't have my key, can you give me the code for the box? No, we can't. We can't do that. That box is a GFS box, and that allows us to deliver during non-business hours, or if there's snow on the ground. Because we all know that if it's a foot of snow and they can get there, they're going to be there, unfortunately. Yeah, they're going to be there. And another thing is, on the lock boxes, we do have a policy and procedure in place. So let's say you wanted to meet with your superintendent and say, hey, I really don't want my staff to get out on delivery day. We can actually, Patrick can, any of us can, and transportation can go meet with the superintendent to go over what that lockbox looks like, what's the security procedure for it, and work through those things. And I have had some of those meetings myself in the past with superintendent, assistant superintendents, and we have provided the paperwork. We can show them the box, what it looks like, how durable is it, and we can work through any of those questions or concerns with them.
Yeah, one of the ones we get hit up for, we get asked for,
Yeah.
is a CAN report,
Yeah.
child abuse neglect. So we routinely do those. Our HR department takes care of it.
Yeah.
But then some districts are asking for fingerprinting, which we do that as well. So anything you need us to do, we can do it.
Right, yeah. And we can do that outside the lock boxes if that's part of your all's new security procedure. For some districts it has been. Anybody that's going to be in the school building at any point, myself, the driver, they run a report on us, they send all that information over to that district as part, because that's part of their policy plan. So if you need that, definitely let me know and we can send that over if that's something you're being asked for. And we can definitely provide that in the event that you all decide to do lock boxes. So, any questions on lock boxes, deliveries, wintertime deliveries?
Something I need to check into, because we, in the past, had done it once, but this year we went to upgrade it and we've got the key cards now and stuff, so.
Oh, okay. And then sometimes what they do is they put the key card in that box, so it'll be an extra key card. Now, if you have administration say, well, we're not paying for that key card, get with me, I'll get with transportation. That may be something that transportation works out with administration and says, we'll cover it. I mean, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I guess it depends on the situation, but we can work something out, I'm sure.
Are there KVEC districts that consistently don't come to the meeting? How do we, I think we've talked about this before, how do we encourage those folks to attend?
For those that can't attend, they've started the videos, and then I've shared
Fantastic.
So I've shared all the presentation with Adrian already and Ashley, so they're going to have those available for the districts that can't attend.
So you weren't joking, you were actually videotaping, so when did you guys decide to do that? That's phenomenal.
I think KVEC decided to do that.
Yeah.
They're doing Ashley said they're doing it more for
That's
all
great.
their meetings. So that way those that can't attend, they'll post it and then they can watch, swipe away stamp clothes and
Hear my
fix my
voice
contact.
behind
So another thing, online bill pay, early pay incentive. Is everybody doing that? Is anybody not doing it and wants to check into it? Needing some more information, that kind of stuff.
Be listed in it.
Okay, so the early pay incentive, let's see, through HPS, hello, is you get a one, look, I just said HPS and she walks in.
Yeah, imagine. I'm sorry, I got a little turned
You're
around.
fine, we're wrapping up anyway.
Okay.
And then we'll let them take a break, a bathroom break. So,
us.
online, so you get a 1% discount if you pay within 10 days of the invoice. And that is one of the incentives through HPS. And you will actually see that discount right off the bat in online pay. So to me, that's the easiest way to manage it, is to do it all online, and that's the quickest way to submit it because it is 10 days from date of invoice regardless of business days. So if anybody's not taking advantage of that and they want to, let me know because we'll have to change your terms. I can come show you how to use online bill pay. We'll get all that squared away. So I can definitely do that.